Truth, not that one, not that one. The stupid double album thing, because the album two albums fit on one CD. Yes, Jeff Beck, the best guitarist ever. Not a writer, not a musician. As a player, a guitar player, he's the best guitarist ever. Okay, and that's literally how he sounds the notes. The way he controls the strings and the way he plucks the strings is the best one. I know, it's unique and all that stuff. Wikipedia says he's the guitarist. I can get behind that. I certainly, you take away all the nonsense. Him and Steve Vai, there's not actually a lot of difference. Not really. They're doing something very similar, and obviously because of nonsense, people wouldn't see that movie. But yeah, and he's actually quite. It's an esoteric tone. It is a weird sounding guitar because guitar doesn't normally sound like that unless it's very, very guitar-y. So, he sounds weird. That's the thing. Yeah, but, who's the best guitarist? The answer is Jeff Beck. We know that. I've noticed there's been an increase in angry comments. I assume this is the YouTube algorithm and we've been shared a lot. So we've probably gained a lot of viewers. So, yeah, it's also going to attract these strange, zealous people who... There's someone saying a different opinion on my computer. How dare they? They get very angry and say, well, this... those people, they're going to be angry anyway, aren't they? But yeah, what I'm going to say now is going to be so massively controversial because Jeff Beck.
We'll title this video, Kev Destroys Jeff Beck.
That's so tempting. This is an artist I've listened to for 3/4 of my life. My soul has been touched, blah, blah. We've barely mentioned him before. We'll do the history and we'll do the album. It's the Heavy Blues album. There it is. It's his first album. Here's the thing. This is a bad representation of his playing. It's a horrible recording. It's really badly recorded. The mix is bad. We're going to do a good sound effect by putting the amp in a cupboard, and it sounds like it's an amp in a cupboard. I think it sounds terrible, actually. This is not the album I would recommend for Jeff Beck. And that is massively controversial because it's so influential. It's so, and I'm gonna say no, it's wrong. It's the wrong album. So you can get angry in the comments and Jimmy Page nicked the whole album and did it again. Trouble is he did it better with inferior guitar playing, and it's much better, unfortunately. Led Zeppelin 1 is better. Beck's Bolero is the best sounding thing on there, and it's produced by Jimmy Page. And my favourite things on there are actually now, they're not guitar-y things. It's Morning Dew and Old Man River. I think are great. So it's possibly because it's so fundamental to everything, and because I know that so well, that's, I've heard it. So there's nothing for me to get out of it. So that could be a thing. The second album is better. Controversial. That's alienated any new views we've gained, never mind.
Well, if that's alienated any new views we've gained, give it 2 minutes.
Yeah. Hold my drink.
I'm not a guitarist, so
Yeah, so you won't have that.
Yeah. When you asked me, you said, "Oh, do you want to do Beck's instrumental stuff, or do you want actually?" And I said to you, "Well, I don't think I could do instrumental only stuff," which is a bit of a surprise actually. When we first started doing this, I was all about instrumental stuff. Get the instrumental stuff like vocals are. They should augment the instrumental stuff. You should say what you need to say in the actual music, and the words should augment that sort of thing. But I've obviously changed since those days.
Well, there's listening to and there's reviewing, isn't it? And
I just thought instrumental stuff. Maybe we could do one album of it, but I couldn't do a run of 3 albums of that. It would be just listening to Kev talking about guitar playing, basically, which I actually think a lot of our viewers would probably quite like.
Probably. Yeah, but you remember when we did Vishnu Orchestra? It was just really hard. And there were terrible reviews, and people still get angry and comment.
So it's going up in the chat. But recently, I went to the Dordogne and we did some wine tasting. We went on a wine tasting tour, which was just a bit of something to do. Basically, I'm not big into wine. And basically, the main appeal of wine to me is that one bottle is just the right amount to get you very, very merry and not go too far. And that's my sort of thing with wine. But we went on this wine tour, and I think part of it was teaching how to enjoy wine to a deeper level. So Madame Bernadette owned this vineyard, and she took us to the wine tasting room with the spittoons everywhere and stuff like that. It was pretty cool, and she showed us how to properly taste wine. And basically, she says, what you got to do is you got to rinse it around your mouth. So basically, not like you're doing a mouthwash, but kind of slowly move it around, get it into the gums, get it under the tongue, get it all around. So you end up doing these really funny faces.
Yeah. Like you're playing guitar.
Yeah, and then you spit it out. And then you do this thing where you breathe in to get the air flowing over the wine and stuff like that. And this gives you a great sense of appreciation of the taste and the wine, what's going on in the wine. You should be able to taste the fruits and various things going on.
The meat, the sort of grassiness underneath.
All that crap. And basically, Sarah and I both agreed that basically what it actually did was make wine taste like paint stripper.
Okay. So because you couldn't get drunk out of it, there was no.
It was like the burning sensation of the alcohol. It just emphasised that really. It was like it made it really quite unpleasant.
What you're having to do actually is look past the alcohol taste and just
really
what else is
weird,
in there apart from alcohol.
It was really weird because the other couple with us, they go, oh yeah, you can taste it. Oh yeah, listen. Like, basically, I was getting like, oh, that's pretty disgusting. Can't do that. Anyway, so I mean, listening to that, I know the reputation that Beck has got.
Yeah.
Jeff Beck, not Beck.
He's not got a reputation.
No.
Beck is someone who came and went.
Yeah. And I'm listening to it, I'm thinking, is there a similar process for music, that I can do to make me appreciate it better? Because I'm not quite getting it, And I'm getting quite worried about it because, I mean, we've had some comments about stuff like, well, can't you pick something that you actually like? I am aware that like 90% of what we review, I end up going, well, it's not very good. I mean, and basically, if I stop to actually listen to it and swill it around a bit, swill the notes around my mouth and start picking it about, actually I can hear stuff that I like. But the main issue with it is, it's not all adding up to something spectacular for me. It's just like lots of good little things. I find it really interesting actually. You said the recordings. I listened to the 2005 remaster.
Yes, I was going to talk about that. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So is that a lot better?
It seems to be. Yeah, I was really surprised. On Spotify, there's a lot more dirt in the sound. It's a lot more rough. I think attempts to remaster it made it worse.
Right.
Made it too clear. I think that's part of the problem.
That's what I thought. It is actually. I can actually hear the bass guitar.
Yeah.
And I can hear the drums. I can hear everything that's going on. I can pick it out really, really.
It sounds like a soundboard
really accurately
of a concert in the 60s. So it's clear, but it's kind of harsh and horrible.
Yeah. I think that just makes it sound quite simple to me.
Well, it is simple. Yeah.
It's very simple in its orchestration, but I can't quite put my finger on it. Why? Like Morning Dew, you said you like Morning Dew. I quite like Morning Dew. I mean, I appreciate it. I'm listening to what's going on. This is one of the bagpipes, isn't it?
Yeah, and John Paul Jones.
Yeah, it's. I can hear everything, but it's not sort of like saying, "Wow, that's amazing."
It just makes me think your time is gonna come.
I suppose what I don't get understand is it's the listening experience for me is just a bit flat.
Yes.
It's like I'm picking up all the hints and the flavours of good stuff.
You're getting the
yeah.
That is a production. I think that is a production issue. You hear some good notes and you think, well, that's a nice little group of notes, but it doesn't fit together as a sound.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it?
Yeah. No, I think that's just crap production. Really bad production.
Yeah. You mentioned Led Zeppelin. I didn't know Jimmy Page had anything to do with this, but it's occurred to me like actually Led Zeppelin have done similar thing.
Well, they just copied
with
the
Led 1.
Yeah.
And it sounds awesome.
It's much
and
better.
that's an example of
I mean, some of the guitar playing on Led 1 is again controversial. It's a bit ropey. On the Good Times Bad Times, the solo is kind of he's not a very good guitarist in so many ways. That's controversial, but he's a much better producer. And in a sense, he's cheated, hasn't he? He's heard that and how can you do that better?
Well, you
That's
get
cheating.
the sense that maybe Jimmy Page wants to make good albums, yeah? Whereas Jeff Beck is focused on the guitar, basically.
Yes. He doesn't really,
Yeah.
I don't think he has that interest. I think
Yeah.
he's a guitarist, and that's it. Whereas Jimmy Page is a producer and all that stuff.
But that makes sense. I mean, you've got Greensleeves on here.
Exactly. So
And it's sort of like, it feels a little bit like...
it's just Greensleeves.
Yeah,
I really like Greensleeves, yeah, but it's just Greensleeves.
It's not what someone who wants to make music does. It's what someone who wants to, play the guitar does.
Yeah.
I can do a really interesting version of Greensleeves, ding, 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 whatever. Yeah. So it does start, and Old Man River. I mean, these are old songs. Why do you put Old Man River? It's okay. It's a well executed version of Old Man River. But why do you put that on an album? It's potentially interesting, actually.
Yes.
If you could, if you manage to make, put Old Man River on an album and it sounds good and it fits in the album and it makes it a better album, then yeah, it works. But in this case, it just seems like I've kind of run out of songs. I don't really want to write anymore.
Let's do that cover.
Yeah, let's do a cover of that.
But I mean, at the same time, you're right. It's interesting. It's exactly what Jimmy Page would have known not to do on Lead One.
Yeah.
It's not embryonic heavy metal.
Yeah.
And that I actually like it because it's something different.
I'm not actually sure which one. Are there any, is You Shook Me a Blues cover, or is he?
Yeah, it's a cover. Yeah,
Is it?
It's Willie Dixon. Yeah. But obviously, the fact that Jimmy Page thought, oh, okay, we'll do that as well, and it's better.
Yeah.
I think I get the impression Page saw it as sort of fair enough competition, friendly competition, and Jeff Beck didn't. He took it really personally, and they. But I mean, and Beckola, the second album, there's stuff on there that sounds exactly like Led Zeppelin 2. There's bits on this as well. The middle bit of "Let Me Love You" is almost identical to the middle of the Lemon Song. You can hear it. It's the same. It's just nicked it. It's done the same thing.
I mean, I've actually written here at the end of the day, what we've said about it, why Led Zeppelin works, is that the songs are good, and the songs just aren't good enough on here. It's like that. It's missing. It's really hard to put your finger on it, because when you swill it around the mouth and you listen to the individual things, they're good.
Yes.
It's like it's missing something, like some brown sauce or something like that. It just needs a little something to
it doesn't
make it zip.
It doesn't fly.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's there, and that's the thing that's there. But
I actually think it's a blues thing, So I listened to quite a bit of John Lee Hooker when I was young. And, if you listen to a whole album of John Lee Hooker...
Yeah, that's a lot of John Lee Hooker.
It's a lot of John Lee Hooker, and you're like, okay, I can listen to so much of this. Actually, when you put him next to another blues player, you listen to some different blues, you actually realise how effective he was. So, going back to the wine metaphor, so you get different regions, you have the wine police in France. And to say you put the appellation's name on the bottle of wine, you have to adhere to strict guidelines. And one of those is yield, how many grapes you get per hectare.
Right.
So if you have too many grapes, it degrades the quality of the wine. John Lee Hooker was very good at getting a high yield. Well, getting high yield from the minimum number of notes.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's very, very simple, but it's a heck of a song. I don't think the yield is high enough on these songs. I just think it's sort of you're not getting enough from it, because they are quite simple. It has to be sort of like memorable. Yeah. Yeah. And for some reason they're just not. It's just not immediately memorable. I thought, when I looked at the titles, I thought Beck's Bolero is going to be the one. I thought it's going to be this epic sort of.
Okay.
And it's not. It's like 2 minutes 55 sort of thing.
Well, it is. That's true. Yeah.
Yeah. I was expecting sort of like this building crescendo thing to something really epic. Okay, this is what people mean. Well, Jeff Beck had so much potential, and I was a little bit like, well, no, okay, that's not that.
I mean, that's the important one, because like I said, Jimmy Page produced it. He's also playing rhythm guitar, and John Paul Jones is on it as well, and Keith Moon is on the drums, and that's supposed to be the embryonic Led Zeppelin. And
It's like a Superman, that is, isn't it?
yeah, it's the Superman, and it's the story of. Is the bass player on there as well? Or maybe that's controversial. Maybe it's not the bass player from the Who, but or maybe you didn't admit being on it. That's the embryonic Led Zeppelin moment, and Keith Moon supposedly saying that I'll go down like a Led Zeppelin, and he probably didn't say it, etc. That's that track. But that was the B-side to. Is it the B-side to High Silver Lining, or one of them? It was actually a B-side, so they put it on there, kind of thing. But to me, that's actually sounds much better. It's got a big sound.
I ain't got much more to say about it, really. I'm kind of interested in what happened with Beck. You know, what happened to the Yardbirds and all that kind of stuff to get him to here. Why?
Well, remember, the Yardbirds was Eric Clapton, and they were supposed to be a blues band who went poppy. So Eric Clapton went off in a huff, famously, and was replaced by Jeff Beck. And what the Yardbirds really did was cool pop songs with innovative guitar, but not great songwriters really. Cool pop songs, which is a thing. But Jeff Beck said himself that they were sort of overqualified in guitar and underqualified in writing. And at that point, Jimmy Page wasn't much of a writer. And Jimmy Page joined on bass originally, and then it was the twin guitar thing between the two of them. There's a big disagreement about whether it sounded terrible or whether it sounded amazing. And Jeff Beck was actually fired.
Oh, really?
He didn't leave. Well, it was a bit of both, I think, really. But basically, he was inconsistent, and the film Blow Up with the Yardbirds in it. They're playing Train Kept a Rolling, and Jeff Beck has a problem with feedback or something going wrong, and gets angry and smashes all the stuff up. And it's not an act. That was actually them performing live, and this is a big thing with being filmed. It's not working. So it was a genuine thing. He was smashing it up. I think he had headaches or something, which was resolved later on. So he was very inconsistent. So that's why they sacked him, and that's why Jimmy Page took over in the Yardbirds on lead guitar.
So why was there all this love for him that he gets, Rod Stewart, Ron Wood?
Well, he was already a big name by then. I mean, when remember his name a bit.
I suppose it's a bit like Roger Waters post Pink Floyd,
Yeah. I mean, what's his name? Animals. What's the Animals bass player? Okay, the Animals bass player, the guy who discovered Jimi Hendrix and brought him to the UK. Jimi Hendrix said, "Okay, I'll only come if I get to meet Jeff Beck." That was who he looked up to, because he'd heard these Yardbird singles of not great songs. I mean, some of them are pretty cool, but it's guitar innovation. That's what it was about. So he was already famous by the end of the Yardbirds, whereas Jimmy Page wasn't. Jimmy Page was known in the people that know, and maybe that worked against him. I mean, obviously the first thing he did was Hi Ho Silver Lining, which is a really famous song, but doesn't help him in the long run. It's harder to be taken seriously if you've done something like that, and obviously it's not on the album, because it isn't. That would be terrible. And Hi Ho Silver Lining, interestingly, has one of the worst guitar solos ever. And the Yardbirds are actually quite cool, but my mum says, because my mum was around at that time and saw John Mayall and the Bruisebreakers in the famous club in Birmingham and all this. They were like the alternative to the Beatles and the Stones. They were the cooler ones, which seems really silly now, with just silly songs, isn't it? It's the Yardbirds. But that's how people thought of them at the time. But it was generally blues-based stuff, and there was stuff like Train Kept a Rolling and I'm Confused, which was the song Jimmy Page had stolen. Interestingly though, most of the covers, is obviously a lot of covers, they're actually credited. Strangely, except for the B.B. King song Rock Me Baby, which is called Rock My Plimsoul. But apart from that, they're actually credited to the original writers, unlike Led Zeppelin, who did it a bit, but I mean, you're saying about Greensleeves, that's the acoustic track. Black Mountainside is the acoustic track on Lead 1. I mean, bloody hell. Black Mountainside is completely stolen. He didn't actually write it at all, but that's a hell of a lot more interesting than just Greensleeves.
Yeah.
It is, and it's not a nice arrangement of Greensleeves, it's just Greensleeves. I'm sure I don't listen to it now, I'm sure I'll skip it.
It's weird, I mean, and I remember Andy playing Greensleeves.
I remember that.
How old were we there? That was middle school,
It
so
was
before
Mrs.
12.
Wood.
I used to, whenever I go around his house, he'd play I'd ask him to play Greensleeves.
It's exactly like the one on there.
It's like, what?
Yeah, it's dun, 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 dun. It's literally that.
Yeah.
You think Lead 1, when it does, it gets to where it was going. For me, I think Days Confused, which he didn't write, and How Many More Times? How Many More Times is they've got to Led Zeppelin. This doesn't do that, it just carries on with more blues songs.
Yeah.
So Ain't Superstitious, which is one of the best things on the album actually, it's not as good as How Many More Times, is it? It's it's cool, and I like them. I like it played live. So yeah, badly recorded blues stuff and some random selection of songs to make it diverse, I think is the way to describe it really. We haven't mentioned Rod Stewart actually. I'm not a fan of Rod Stewart. I think that might be part of the problem. Part of that.
According to Wikipedia, Sir Roderick David Stewart is a British rock singer and songwriter. By the way, he's performing in Manchester on the 23rd of November.
I'll be going to that.
How spooky is that?
God,
I didn't say Rod Stewart. Kev said Rod Stewart.
Heard me. Sinister. It's booked our tickets now. No. He's just not my kind of singer, and I get a vibe from him. I don't like him as a person.
I'm the same.
Isn't that weird?
I've never known the big deal with Rod Stewart. I thought, no, he just sounds a bit crap.
I don't normally get
on this. I think it's all right.
He's very good.
Yeah.
He's very good. Yeah, and obviously it sounds like Led Zeppelin 1.
Yeah.
But before Led Zeppelin, so he's a very good singer. I don't normally get that personal thing. When people aren't very nice, it doesn't bother me. But I don't know. There's something about Rod Stewart I dislike.
I don't know. It's not very. Actually, I've seen him on TV. People, one of those "Let's Go Round the Stars" house type show, and I think his wife was actually holding court, if you know what I mean. That she was showing them people, and actually he come in and he came across as a very nice person.
Right.
He was sort of like very affable and that, and I thought, okay, I still don't like your music, but okay.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe there's some interview somewhere of him being horrible or something. I don't remember. I'm going to give it 3 eggs because that's what it means to me. And obviously, it's Jeff Beck. It's this massive, important album, but I don't like the recording, and I don't think it does what it should do. We haven't mentioned Shapes of Things, which I think is a row. I think it's just a horrible arrangement. I've never liked it. And again, that's so controversial. It's such a big, important thing, switching from the Yardbirds version to the version.
Do you like the Yardbirds version?
It's alright. It's a pop song.
It's weird, man. It's sort of like you said, you need to watch this, and I was like, oh, okay, that's boring.
Yeah.
And when I heard it on that, I thought, well, why are you doing that song?
Things before me.
I thought, what? You do a good one, wouldn't you?
Yeah, and it's just horrible. And there's things like when he does a slide, it sounds like he's doing the slide without it plugged in. It's so badly recorded. Yeah. So 3 eggs.
I agree. 3 eggs. I did not expect that. So if you hated that review, there's 2 more coming.
Press subscribe. There's 2 more coming.
And you'll get really angry, probably.
So catch us next week. Obviously, we've got to do 3 albums, and I've chosen one album with vocals on it as a thing, just because it's the first one. Yeah. So I think the others are all better. I think, but that's the interesting one. Obviously, it's the important one and the famous one. But catch us next week for Blow by Blow.
Exciting.